Barbie or Oppenheimer first? I see Barbie on the slate first, but does anyone have strong opinions for Oppenheimer first?
I think Oppenheimer will be longer.
Yeah,
so
we're going to talk about Oppenheimer more.
Okay. So that didn't answer my question.
I know.
What was your question?
Which one do we want to start with?
Which one
Barbie.
Okay.
Yeah, Barbie.
That's totally fine with me. Another long disclaimer real quick before I have to go find my son. Fully acknowledge that we are 4 white dudes talking about a very feminist movie. You can take this review with an absolute grain of salt. Completely understand if we are not the target audience for this movie. We're not. We're going to try to review it the best we can. We're going to bring light to the feminist I'm trying to think of the word, the undertones of this movie, I guess we'll say. We want to bring that to light and at least talk about it a little bit and make mention of it, but fully aware we're not the target audience for this movie. I did a review, got called sexist, wasn't trying to be. That's all right. It happens. I'm not the perfect reviewer for this thing. So I've talked to my wife about it, gotten her thoughts a little bit, and we'll kind of go from there. But we'll start with Mr. Seth, who I believe saw it most recently.
Yeah.
You have the floor, sir.
I saw it last night. Yeah. Interesting. I echo everything Cam said. Obviously, I'm not coming at this from a point of view where I kind of relate, I guess, which is always harder to do, especially with these sort of films. I thought Barbie was fine. I had a pretty decent time with it for the most part. I think for me, it's a film where, regardless of whether I relate to the experiences or not, I think it's a very hard for a film like this, which is backed by, is it Mattel? Mattel. Backed by such a big corporation. It is clearly, has an abundance of advertising and placement and stuff like that. I think it's very hard to get across social commentary without it feeling shallow and flat for me, for everyone, and at times it really did for me. I think the film was actually quite funny, and I know most people were expecting it to, but I was a bit skeptical because of the trailers. I actually didn't think it looked that great, and I will say the first 15 minutes, I was like, I am not going to like this at all, but it has enough kind of charm and push forward and relatable themes for some, which I completely understand that kind of keep it going. I think the cast is charismatic. It's fun. I do love the sets. I think they were really, really well crafted, and I think they looked very, very pleasing to the eye. I just think the biggest disappointment for me was how muddled the social commentary was, because it's hard to gain a middle ground between, when you're pushing a film for a huge corporation such as this, it's going to be hard to completely show your own stylistic way and go your own way with it. And I think that's what they struggle with because of its attachment to Mattel. But I think it was fine. Like I said, I don't have, it's not like something I hated. It's something that I liked for the most part. It's mainly just the social commentary bogging it down. And I actually think when it tries too hard to provide that at times with its monologues, and again, I know people like the monologues, and again, I don't relate to them, so what the fuck do I know? But at the same time, I thought when it tried too hard to be something it wasn't, it kind of lost the Barbie and the charming vibe it had to it. And I think a lot of the commentary and a lot of the monologues were very, very much on the nose.
I think they were very much supposed to be, though. Just to interject.
No, they were, but this is what I'm saying. They were on the nose, and they were supposed to be because you're in this Barbie universe and the way they speak and stuff. But I'm saying that's not what I like. That's not how I like it to be presented. And I think that when they tried to do that and when they went into that, because I don't think there's another way they could have done it. I think that it has to be on the nose because you're in a Barbie universe. But I just didn't like it because it kind of lost the charm for me when they went into these sections. But overall, really great sets, charming, charismatic cast, some really funny moments. I can't say I loved anyone's performance, I guess. There wasn't really like a standout for me, but I just liked everyone. I thought everyone was funny. I thought everyone had some good moments. And I wanted more Michael Cera because I like Michael Cera. But,
he was so funny.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we're going into some funny moments. But yeah, again, I am coming at this as, like Cam said, a male. So what the fuck do I know? But it was a 3 out of 5 for me. I definitely didn't hate it. I thought it was just okay. Just a little bit shallow and flat at times, which I don't know if they could have prevented. But overall, pretty positive experience. I know, for example, I know Cam said this as well. I went to see it with Anna, and Anna liked it a lot more than me, which says a lot. I think she gave it a 4. which is really high for her. So again,
What did Anna think of it?
So Anna really liked it. I think again, like she can relate to a lot more than me, and I think she liked the whimsical nature.
Yeah,
And she liked how the commentary was provided, and she also just loves the cast in general. So I think yeah, she got a 4, and she was really really positive about it. And a 4 for Anna is like a 4.5, a 5.
So she gave Goodfellas a 2.
2.5, I think. Yeah, crazy. Well, that says a lot. But I think that says a lot that I thought it was okay, but she thought it was, great,
Yeah.
fantastic. And I think it was the same with Cam and Emma. I give it a 3. Perfectly fine. Didn't dislike it. Had a decent time with it. Just a little bit flat and shallow at times for me personally, anyway.
Alrighty. I think it was George who saw it after me, and then
Yeah.
Screw it, George is next. And
Okay.
yeah, we should have just had like our girlfriends and wives on this episode.
I was gonna
So
say, yeah.
they could have sat with us and just
we could have been
chit-chatted.
silent this entire time and
We
just
should
let
have
them talk for an
That would
hour.
have been better.
No, I came out of Barbie expecting I worded that horribly. I came out of Barbie having liked the movie a lot more than I expected. Just like Seth said, like I liked the trailers. I thought they were fun, quirky, nothing that blew me away. I didn't particularly like any of like the early clips we got or any early like set images. And I feel like as like the movie approached and my hype for Oppenheimer elevated, my like hype for Barbie kind of kept dwindling. So to have come out of that movie as high on it as I did, I was very expected. I will say, it's Seth, the reason I asked about what Anna thought is because I saw it with Victoria. And I thought seeing it with Victoria and like seeing her and her impact and how this movie impacted her and how much she loved this movie. And then even my entire theater, seeing like all the women around me and just seeing how much this movie means to them, that elevated my experience. I thought it was just
kids in mind, to be honest, like 8-year-olds, which were really.
I had
I had screaming kids all the way. It was really annoying. Maybe I would have given it a 3.5 then. But
that I think that elevated my experience with this movie because like this was one of my favorite theater experiences of the year. Everyone was wearing pink. Everyone was losing their minds. All the women were cheering. Like it was just such a fun experience, and seeing how much it means to Victoria, how much it means to my other female friends, whether they're on Letterboxd or TikTok. It's just like a very endearing quality, which is I personally, and I said this in my Letterboxd review, I think that makes this movie one of the most important of the year. As for the execution, I liked it. I really did. The downfalls of this movie for me were everything in the real world. We'll get more in depth when we go into spoilers. I've been hearing a lot of people.
I agree.
Yeah, I thought the real world was just bland and dull. And I've been getting a lot of comments, people being like, oh, well, that's the intention. Like, the real world is bland and dull compared to Barbie Land, which I understand, but I still it just didn't land for me. Everything in Barbie Land, I was eating up. The production design, the set design, obviously that's what the one thing everyone's gravitating towards talking about. But even so, just like the chemistry between our cast, the comedy hit throughout. I mean, I was laughing my ass off throughout this entire movie. I don't think I'm overselling it, and I think Cam said the same thing, that this is the funniest movie of the year.
Ooh.
I was dying, dude. Like
For sure, the funniest movie of the year.
Yeah,
even Rivals.
Not for me.
What do you think? Even Rivals?
Yeah. What
no, I
Dungeons and Dragons had like 3 jokes.
No,
I also haven't seen Joyride, so I'm not including that.
Dungeons and Dragons was like, that was my funniest comedy. I really
crazy.
For me,
No, it's not.
We'll continue. We'll continue.
No, it's just
Okay,
funnier
I
to
haven't
me.
seen that one. So
It's
that's
funnier
it.
to me.
I still think Barbie was
Still
funnier than The
crazy.
Blackening, but I haven't. I've seen Joyride, but I haven't seen the movie. But I've seen everyone say that that's the funniest. But regardless, I was stunned by like how much the comedy was hitting. Like there were very few jokes that didn't land for me. I was laughing throughout. When we get into spoilers, we'll obviously talk about my 2 favorite lines from this movie. You guys can definitely guess what one of them was. But yeah, overall, I had an absolute blast this movie. I think my theater experience elevated my score, which I really don't mind. It's a movie I weirdly want to see again because I want to see how my thoughts hold up. And obviously, I just absolutely love seeing how much this movie means to Victoria. Victoria actually wrote an entire Letterboxd review. She's never done that in her life. But that's how much this movie means to her, that she wrote a 2-paragraph Letterboxd review expressing
Really? I
like
didn't see this.
Yeah, a whole thing. So if you want to follow Victoria Valone on Letterboxd, shameless plug.
It was very nice. I saw.
Yeah,
it.
She never does. She either just never posts a review and she just logs a film, or she'll just write like a 1-sentence, whatever, quick, funny blurb. But this movie got her to write an entire 2-paragraph review, which just shows how much this movie means to her. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5 for me. I enjoyed it way more than I thought. One of, if not my favorite theater experience of the year.
All righty, Tyler, give it a whirl.
Yeah, so I was the only one of us to attend the Barbie blowout screening. So I attended mine on the campus of Arizona State University, and I know we have a lot of non-Americans that follow us and listen to us. So Arizona State University is just the most stereotypical like party, drinking, school, like if you like a Eurovision's movie we've been rewatching a ton recently, and like all the Americans that go over there and like act all stupid, college students, they're all wearing like Arizona State shirts. Like that's the stereotypical US, like that's where people go that don't want to learn anything, they just want to get drunk and party and do all that stuff. So I was on that campus, so every one of my screening was like fraternity bros, sorority girls, all dressed in pink, which was super fun. But so many people came late to the movie, and it was at the same exact time as a Talk to Me early screening, and Talk to Me and like it was so packed for that they were like turning people away. So it was so packed for people waiting for that and trying to get in the Barbie movie. And I'm not even exaggerating, when people were walking into the Barbie movie an hour into it, not just like one person trickling in, it'd be like a group of like 10 college students, like an hour into this movie would be walking in. I'm like, this is just crazy, man. But yeah, Barbie blowout screening gets a thumbs in the middle. Literally all it was.
The Barbie blowout screening?
Yeah, I'll go into that. So literally all the Barbie blowout screening was instead of trailers, they just played like the Barbie soundtrack and just like and which I really didn't like, because they showed like the whole
which banged.
Which I know they already released it, but they showed the whole "I'm Just Ken" scene, and it's like I know people already saw it on like Twitter and stuff, but like for general audience members, why are you showing the entire like "I'm Just Ken" scene before the movie even starts? And I was like, this is just weird. They're just showing clips from the movie before you're even showing the movie. So Barbie blowout screening is a thumbs down, I'd say. Like it's just a very like there was nothing fun about it. Like it was just like they're just like spoiling the movie basically before the movie starts. But it was really fun seeing everyone, you know, dressed in pink and like really supporting and super hyped. But yeah, so I liked Barbie, didn't love it. So really like barely anyone else that I followed went to the Barbie blowout screening except like the women of movie talk that I follow. So like immediately after Barbie, I was like messaging like Sydney, Sophie, Reagan, like crazy, like in the DMs, just trying to like get their thoughts on the movie and talk about things I didn't like, talk about things I did like. Cause like Cam prefaced, we're just men at the end of the day. So like we can't really have a say for a lot of this stuff because we just haven't lived it and we can't experience it or talk with it with any sort of vigor. So I was like trying to talk to them like, okay, this is some of the stuff I wasn't digging. Like, am I like way off base here or not? A lot of the stuff that like I didn't really love, they kind of felt the same with. I was talking with Sydney, Sophie, and Reagan, and there's just some things that like with the messaging that was just super on the nose that I just didn't really feel worked, because at the end of the day, this is a super corporate movie. And like Mattel's going to sell so many different types of Barbies than ever before because of this. And it's like, and like the fact, like every time they threw off like a costume, it would tell you exactly what it was. And it's like, you know, kids are going to watch and be like, Mom, I want the faux jacket number 2 that Ken had in the movie. And it's like, at the end of the day, this is a super pro-capitalist movie trying to act anti-capitalist, which I didn't love. And the one criticism that really I don't understand about this movie, though, is people that are like, this is anti-man. Like, I feel like it actually did a good, solid arc with men and, like, the whole toxic masculinity, some of it, I guess, like, with, like, the whole, like, incel stuff was a little bit on the nose. But I feel like they did, like, a solid arc for men as well. And I feel like they treated it not with,
I agree, but I think that anyone who goes into a film immediately says anti-man, we know what sort of man they are anyway. So I don't really
like
take
the Ben Shapiro types of the world who did attend
I
the
don't
Barbie
give a
blowout
fuck
screening.
Bro, Ben Shapiro, try not to call a movie woke challenge. Literally impossible.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
My favorite part about that is when he tweeted that, like a quote tweet that went viral is like, the funniest thing about him tweeting this right now means that he would have saw it at a Barbie blowout screening. So Ben Shapiro, big Barbie fan confirmed. But yeah, so I really like the production design. It's super great. I kind of agree with Seth. Like, I enjoyed the cast. I didn't really think any of them were like crazy good. Like Ryan Gosling was a lot of fun, but definitely have loved him in other roles a lot more. Margot Robbie took a backseat to me to like America Ferrera, who I thought was really great in this. Which
See, that I disagree with. That everyone kept saying that before, because you saw the movie before I did, and so did a few of my mutuals, and everyone kept saying like Margot Robbie isn't even the main female in this movie. I'm like, yes, she is.
Yeah.
Like she may not have been like the best performance, but she 100% has the most screen time of any female in this film.
I thought the same as George, to be honest. I thought she went the most.
Yeah, I was like fully expecting like her to not be in the movie with the way everyone was talking about. I agree. America Ferrera was for sure the standout, especially like that monologue towards the end. But like Margot Robbie was without a doubt the main character of this movie.
No, I agree with that too. I think more people are saying like her arc wasn't as strong as like an America Ferrera.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah, everyone kept saying like she's like the third or fourth main character in her movie. And in my mind, the first thing I thought of was Laurie Strode in Halloween Ends, where like she really was not in the movie at all. Like that's what I was thinking.
No, yeah, Barbie or Margot Robbie was definitely in the movie, like the most screen time of anyone for sure. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. The soundtrack did bang. For me though, actually, like none of the comedy hit. Like I think the beach joke they thought was hilarious. I said it like 80 times. Yeah,
that was funny. I
thought the first act was like a mess for me personally, but I think that mainly might have been because I feel like they showed everything of it. Like every trailer showed everything from the first act.
But that's what everyone said.
In general with films nowadays, I'd seen it all the time, so it just annoyed me. I would see it again. But.
Right, yeah, but like I know like Simu Liu is a guy like people are supposed to hate, but I actually like enjoyed him in this too. Like I thought like everyone had like a good performance. Like I didn't really dislike anyone. John Cena was kind of whatever, but he didn't have enough to really matter.
He didn't do anything.
Will Ferrell was fine, but yeah, John Cena and Dua Lipa, just an iconic merman duo. But yeah, I liked it. I do want to rewatch it. And I want to take Riley because like part of me thinks she might like it, but a part of me thinks she might actually be lower than me, just like knowing the type of movie she likes. But I do want to rewatch it because I think with my expectations being a lot different going in this time, like this is a movie I wish I didn't see first because I didn't see anyone's reviews for going in. But I think if I would have saw like Sophie Sidney's, Reagan's, everyone else's reviews before going into it, I think I would have had a lot different mindset. So I think I might like it more on rewatch. But yeah, 6.1 out of 10 for 3 stars where I'm currently sitting for Barbie.
I think that's why I liked it like more than I thought I would because a lot of my mutuals, just a lot of my mutuals saw it before I did, and they were all like lower on it than I had expected them to be. So like going into the movie, I was like, all right, I guess maybe I should lower my expectations, and I did, and I was like, damn, pleasantly fucking surprised.
Yeah, I know what you mean about that. To be fair, I get that.
All right. Yeah, in my opinion, I really loved it. Gave it an 82 out of 100 or 81. I forget where it ended up. Whatever. 4 out of 5, highest on it in the group. A lot of things I think that hit were just like that. I don't. It's not spoiler. Just like the commentary on women trying to be everything in society, and that it's okay to be ordinary a lot of the time because most people are ordinary. Not everyone needs to be a doctor or an astronaut or I don't know, whatever else. And so I really enjoyed that commentary. I do think Ryan Gosling gave what I've seen to be the second best supporting actor role of the year. That being said, I really didn't have anyone like if I were to make a top 5 before these 2 movies came out this year of Oppenheimer and Barbie, I probably wouldn't have had like.
I was gonna say, who else would be there? Like,
I really don't know.
Rupert Grint from Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah, I guess I did just see. I did just watch Past Lives this weekend as well.
Oh yeah.
I actually did like a triple feature this weekend because I did Past Lives in the morning and then Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Did you guys see? I watched 6 movies yesterday.
That's crazy.
I was working from home. Sorry to cut us off. I was working from home and I started like the second I like turned on my laptop, I was like Speed Racer, Spotlight. And then I just watched Guardians. And then at night I watched The Dark Knight, Meg. And then I couldn't fall asleep. So I watched La La Land.
Do you know what you were saying about supporting? There's a lot of supporting actresses, but I see what you mean. There's like not many options for supporting actresses.
Yeah, like really just nothing that I've seen this year.
Yeah.
So I guess, he defaults to 2. I do think he gave a great performance. I think Margot Robbie and American Ferrera gave an amazing performance as well. I really like them. Outside of them, didn't really have any loves in the cast. Actually, I take that back. Michael Cera still got it. That dude's hilarious.
He's so funny.
He's so funny.
He had like 3 lines or something.
And he's so funny in every line that he has. He was hilarious. But yeah, he's still got it. But I just enjoyed it. The monologues like are very on the nose, but I kind of like that because it's like it was also a lot about like we don't have to be subtle. We can be very on the nose, and that worked for me. Because the monologues are very much about what it is like to be a woman in society. So something I enjoyed. My biggest issues with the movie, and while like Will Ferrell's character and the CEOs are all obviously, it's obviously what 10 men on a board for Mattel. And that's kind of the commentary on it, is that it's a Barbie brand that has 10 men leading. I just feel like without making them they kind of made them the villain of the movie, just in the sense that they're obviously just idiot CEOs who don't understand like what the point of Barbie is. But I think they were kind of lackluster a little bit, and they were just kind of chasing her the entire movie.
Sorry, I'll just cut you off.
No,
I was going to say, did you guys like? This might have been me. Considering this film was 2 hours long, there wasn't like not much really happened for me a lot of the time. Like it was pretty much a chase.
I think,
back and forth.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think this was like a much more like a fun time at the movies rather than like something where you needed a villain or something. Sure. And that really worked for me. Is a movie you can go and watch and maybe educate yourself a little bit with. So that's a good time. I did call this lighthearted in my review, which was probably stupid. It's obviously not lighthearted per se. I just meant it was a very fun time at the movies. But it does go very much in depth with like societal problems with how we treat women and things like that. So it's not necessarily lighthearted. But I had a really good time with it. Me and my wife obviously dressed up, got all spiffy with the pink outfits on.
Have you had that pink suit?
No, I asked my friend for it. So you clearly didn't watch my Get Ready with me.
I didn't.
I didn't even see you post this.
I didn't see you post it.
Clearly didn't watch it. So in high school, me and my friends went.
I was off TikTok for a couple of hours. My bad.
That's fair. In high school, me and my friends went to a winter formal dance, and we I don't know how, but someone found that you can buy colored suits online. So we all wore like bright colored suits. So I have access to random colored suits now. So I wore light blue. My friend Cooper wore hot pink. And so I asked him, he was home a couple weeks ago for something. I asked him if I could have it, and he dropped it off. So yeah, I had to wear the pink suit, of course. Was looking fly as hell. There's in the middle of this movie, there's just a 5-minute Chevy ad that kind of took me out of it, because it's so like, it's so much an advertisement. It's not even like trying to be like a high-speed chase. It's so much like like you see the car shifting lanes and stuff. It's just so much. You could have pulled it right from an advertisement. That took me out of the movie a little bit. And yeah, Will Ferrell like I said, Michael Cera still has it. I love Will Ferrell movies. I think he's kind of lost it just comedically.
There wasn't Will Ferrell used to land for me a lot. There wasn't much, and there was only like one scene where
that's what I'm saying. Like Will Ferrell, I love his old movies. I think he's lost his comedic timing and things like that.
There was nothing in this movie for him to like play around with, though. Like,
I think he was trying to be funny.
Really? Like, I don't think he was given like a particularly hilarious scene. I think he was there strictly.
Well, like it was like them trying to get past the gate.
That was like, funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
I mean, it
that
made
was
me laugh.
funny.
Like, because I like George said, I think this is the funniest movie of the year. It made me laugh a ton. That made me chuckle. It didn't make me laugh as much as other moments. I thought I was dying laughing during the I Am Ken's
you know what had me dying when the Kens came riding in like
that was hilarious.
That was the funniest scene.
That killed me.
All right. Before we just start talking about what made us laugh and what we like, let's just go into spoilers. Okay. So starting right here, we're going into spoilers. There's not really much to spoil, but this is kind of where we can just talk jokes.
Just talk shit.
Michael Cera just fighting those people and just being like, I got to get out of here. I can't sit on another what is it? Plastic couch for the rest of my life. Yeah. Fucking love
leather
Michael
couch.
Cera.
I think it is
leather couch. That's what it was. Yeah. I fucking loved Michael Cera in this thing. He was hilarious during this, and it's just every time they panned over to him, it was just like it was so funny. And
it was when Ryan Gosling's crying at the end. He just pans over and he's like crying for no reason.
Yeah, dude, he was so funny. I loved it. What was your favorite line, George?
Oh, okay. Well, my favorite line was when.
What made you? That's what made you laugh. You said
the line that made me laugh the absolute most is when Margot Robbie is crying, basically saying like, "I'm not pretty enough for this," and then the voiceover of Helen Mirren comes in,
that was very funny.
and she goes, "Note to the filmmaker: Margot Robbie is not the right person to deliver these lines," or something like that. That made me and my theater lose our shit.
That was great.
And then it made me. I don't think I love the Zack Snyder's Justice League reference.
That was funny.
I found it hilarious that they didn't say Zack Snyder's Justice League. They said Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice that.
Do we think that was a Noah Baumbach line or a Greta Gerwig line since they co-wrote the movie?
Oh, that was a Noah Baumbach line.
I think but Noah Baumbach.
I would imagine. Oh, actually, I don't know.
I love that line because it was just strictly for people on film Twitter. Because my theater was silent for that line. Like, I don't think anyone understood.
Yeah.
I laughed.
I laughed. Emma did not laugh at that one.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It was like strictly for like people who are chronically online, which I appreciate them throwing in that joke.
For sure.
And then and I feel like everyone's mentioned this, but because it's fucking hilarious, the mansplaining of The Godfather, I thought was
that was very funny. Yeah,
like,
just okay,
this whole movie, it's like, where can like women like relate? Like what can they relate to? In that moment, I was like, that's literally me. Like I'd be mansplaining movies
looked over to me,
left and right.
That's you.
Yeah, like Victoria asks one simple question about one movie, and I'll give her a dissertation on it. And like that was I thought that was hysterical.
The finance bro explaining like stocks was very funny to me as well. That entire scene of them just like doing a bunch of stereotypical things to get the girl, that was very funny.
Yeah, like Ryan Gosling being like, "Can I play my guitar at you?"
That was hilarious. The guitar at you scene was hilarious. I mean, dying.
And just like
them just sitting on the beach,
and just like the non-dialogue, just the looks between Simu Liu and Ryan Gosling were always hilarious.
Dude, Ryan Gosling's eyebrows were doing some crazy shit in this movie.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Yeah, I thought he was hilarious, but I've never. Oh, you go.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like Simu Liu at the time of being cast in Barbie. I mean, I'm assuming he had been done with Shang-Chi at that point completely, or maybe he was probably still mid-filming. But either way, I thought he was such an interesting casting for this movie because he's not like a massive.
He's pretty built.
No. I meant like massive name. I was not talking about body.
Well, there were
structure.
a lot of people who weren't like. A lot of people in this were like, there's a show, obviously, Sex Education. There was 3 guys in that. There was 1 guy from British TV show. A lot of guys were like, this is their first big role for a lot of people in this film.
Yeah, because like I was just saying, like you pick someone who's gonna like be, I guess, like the antagonist Ken compared to like Ryan Gosling's Ken. It's like I figured they would want. Like, I don't know, like a Ryan Reynolds or someone that's just more significantly well known. And like Simu Liu,
maybe
good looking dude, good looking built dude, no doubt a great Ken. But like the casting is just so interesting to me because like in the moment of him being cast, the only thing he basically had to his name was Shang-Chi. And I don't even know if that was out at the time when.
Yeah. If you think about it, the Kens are Ryan Gosling, obviously one of the biggest names.
Yeah.
Simu Liu, not a huge name, but big now because he's from the MCU.
That always been? Wow, I didn't actually realize he'd not been in really anything.
No.
Simu Liu?
Oh, yeah.
He did. Was he in Superstore? He's in a TV show, I thought.
So
but maybe not.
A lot of people don't like Simu Liu because he's was somewhat canceled, and now he's in a lot of like C-tier movies after Shang-Chi.
Yeah, but and then like after that, it's Kingsley Ben-Adir, who is just kind of getting his start right now.
A lot of
because he is in something else that I'm not going to say because maybe later today we have a game and he could be an answer. But don't.
Why would you say that?
Why would you say that?
I might have to change my game. I might have to change my game. Don't worry about it. But yeah, there's not like a ton of Ken castings, and I kind of think that's the entire point of the movie. But I was very shocked how much like screen time Emma Mackey had as one of the Barbies. I kind of forget which Barbie everyone is, other than Issa Rae being the president.
Physicist, I think.
Was she a physicist? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think
Kate
she was.
McKinnon jokes.
Kate McKinnon was hilarious.
She had a lot of fun to play with, for sure.
Yeah,
I used to love her on SNL. That was like my favorite time of SNL with her, and she had like Bill Hader still, and
yeah,
that was my favorite.
She was the one with like the
she was weird Barbie. She was
burger
yeah,
and all that. Yeah, she had a lot to play with. They definitely gave her the most to play with.
Yeah, Emma loved that because she was like, I used to cut the shit out of my Barbie's hair and just like draw on them. That was the best part of Barbie.
Yeah, she was good.
She loved that. She loved that.
Yeah, every single person in this cast, especially Kate McKinnon, just like genuinely looked like they were having a good time being there, which made like all the performances just feel so much more authentic. And Kate McKinnon, like, she was like doing splits and cartwheels, and I was like, what do we? Oh, the scene where Margot Robbie like sat down and like falls over. You know what I'm talking about?
Hilarious. I love
that was funny because like I was like, damn, like that's like super like doll like it was like kind of creepy like how well she fell over.
Speaking of doll like, this could be not actually noticed. So I thought I noticed this. I could be wrong. I think every time they had a wide shot or they panned out, it was like an actual Barbie like toy and not like the actors driving a toy car. I think they used like actual Barbie. I think I noticed that. I could be completely wrong, but if I did notice that and that was true, I really liked it. Otherwise, I just made it up in my head and I was wrong.
Yeah, I'm excited to look for that on rewatch because you might be the only one that caught
I didn't
that.
notice that at all.
Yeah, I think it's true. Don't quote. And I don't know if it's every time, but I think a lot of times they pan out. It's like an actual Barbie world, and not like the actors.
I think one of my favorite characters was is it Issa Rae? Is that her name?
The President Barbie?
Issa Rae.
President Barbie. I think she's great. I really like her.
Is she the one that dropped the motherfucker line?
Yeah,
just out of nowhere.
Going back to Cam, what he was saying about like the executives and Will Ferrell, I totally agree because I feel like so they were obviously introduced probably like about the halfway-ish point, maybe a little before the halfway point, and then they obviously chase Barbie back to Barbie Land. But then once Barbie gets back to Barbie Land, it's the whole like Ken versus Barbie storyline. And then I feel like the studio executives were just like in that house, like gone. And then they just like pop back out like 30 minutes later. It's like, oh yeah, they were like here. I forgot about that. And then like, let's just leave them be and then go back to the real world. I was like, yeah, the executives were like a whatever storyline. The one thing I really don't love about that is because this movie, obviously, anyone who thinks differently is crazy. Like every single scene, every single second of this movie was signed off by Mattel. That no one got away with anything in this. And I just find it kind of dumb that they're like, oh, look, all the executives of Mattel are men. How bad is that? But Mattel, like, okay, they're not going to change that. Mattel's still going to be sitting there with, like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird that Mattel is like, look how stupid our company is for having all men. It's like this movie's going to come out and there's still going to be all men running Mattel. So I don't know. I just find that kind of odd. And yeah, it's just like, I just find it really interesting. People are like, I can't believe they got away with this part in that movie. I'm like, no, Mattel, like, that's why I said like this movie's going to be studied in business schools because Mattel geniusly was like, our brand is starting to get not very favorably looked upon in modern standards. So we're going to deconstruct our old branding and totally rebrand to be a new brand. So now every mom that's watching this movie that loved Barbie as a kid is going to introduce their kids to Barbie. And I think it's just going to really fuel the brand of Barbie to really go forward.
I compare this. I think it's a lot more powerful, but I would compare this to like a Mario or Super Mario Bros. Not in terms of storyline, in terms of themes or anything like that. But I think it's very much harder to get across what you want to get across when it is backed by this huge corporation that is built to sell products. And that's kind of my main issue. I echo all Tyler's thoughts. I think it's very similar to the Mario situation, or to the Mario film situation, should I say.
But I still definitely don't think Greta Gerwig... Sorry, what's up, Cam?
No, I was just going to say, like, I think it's good that... I think it added to it just them poking fun at Mattel. I agree with you that it's going to be a... like marketing tactic, but I still think the jokes landed, in my opinion. Like, they
I agree.
Especially at the end with the old Barbie, like the creator, like saying something about getting caught for tax fraud. Mm-hmm. I didn't know she got caught for tax fraud, and then I looked it up, and I was like, that's kind of fucking hilarious. that made me laugh.
I agree. I just think it's harder to see the authenticity. You know what I mean? When it's coming from them and they've signed it off and everything, and the self-awareness is clearly like Tyler said. But I also think at the same time, the self-awareness from them, regardless of whether they change things or not, which they won't, is quite funny, and it did work within the company and within the real world, I guess. I think it's hard to come across as completely authentic when it is built to sell, things, which any film is, but this is backed by a particular product, by a particular business, and by Mattel. Yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean.
But I definitely don't think Greta Gerwig sold out. Like, I love Greta Gerwig. I still I think this is the best Barbie movie anyone could make possible. Like, I think this movie looked great. I think a lot of the emotional beats did really hit. And for playing with the movie that was just like such an IP based movie and like a brand that's like trying to sell stuff, like I think they still like did a very great job playing around with that. Like I said, not everything worked for me, but I mean, I don't see how they could have made this better. I think that.
No, I agree.
Even though
I don't think it's too hard.
Right. I think the main thing I just really hate about the first act is like we already saw everything from it from the trailers, but like all the stuff with like, you know, Barbie floating down, like trying to drink, like every time she drinks stuff, there's not actually liquid, the shower's no water. Like that's all so cool and like neat and like awesome that they did that.
That was awesome. Like I love that when she gets in the shower, that's like the first thing that happens. She gets in the shower and there's no water. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, oh, they're just like going for it.
And like all the fake food, like it's super cool, like neat, like how they did all that, and like the driving, like you didn't actually have to be like looking at the road or paying attention. So like that's what I'm saying. Like I think Greta Gerwig literally made the best Barbie movie you could, and like I think they really stayed true to the brand and like what people knew growing up, while also talking about what's maybe not so great about Barbie and not so great about Ken's and all the discontinued Barbies and like why they're problematic, like the ones that had like boobs grow if you lifted up their arm, which is crazy. They had a Barbie that was like that, and like pregnant Barbie and how they discontinued that, and just like I feel like they. I
kind of wanted more
from
that character. From Midge, I wanted more from that character.
Emma said her favorite Barbie growing up was the pregnant Barbie, allegedly. That's so she was happy with that shout out because I guess you could remove the pregnant belly and then it had like a baby in there. So then it could just be a regular Barbie with a baby. And apparently that was her favorite. So shout out Midge.
That's awesome. I love how inclusive it was too. Just like there's Barbies of all different kinds, like, you know, doctor, president, lawyer, literally everything's normal, like standard Barbies. Wish there was a little more diversity in the Kens, like, because I didn't have any big boy representation in the Kens. They were all just freaking Greek Adonises and just perfectly looking. But I will say with that, so glad Timothée Chalamet was not in this movie. I could not have seen him as Ken. That would have ruined it for me. Like he would not be able to play a Ken. Him standing next to all the jacked men would look so. He could play an Allan. He could be an Allan. But
I am
he
shocked.
would not be.
I am shocked they didn't get Timmy and Saoirse at least for like you said, like a Ken or
just a quick cameo.
Yeah, just a quick Ken and Barbie like joke. I assumed they would be at.
I was really happy that Saoirse and Timmy were.
I saw they didn't. I wish they were, but I don't think it by any means detracts or adds to the movie if they were or were not in it. I don't have any more jokes to mention. Anyone else got any?
The best scene of the film was when they came in pretending to ride horses. That was hilarious.
So
that was really
that furry jacket was killing me the entire fucking
when they
movie.
were making the noises and like their arm, I thought it was really funny. That was good.
Yeah, I'm just Ken. Like I know we brush on it, but that scene was just so awesome. Well, I guess it was like kind of it was a super long chunk, but I just love that whole thing. It was so well done. All the production,
funny.
like everyone kind of is going to praise the set design, production design as being the best part about this movie, which is fair because it was so like beautiful to look at. So that was definitely like the standout for me is like the Barbie world was just so crazy. And like George said, like the real world was kind of bland. That was probably the point of it, obviously. But what I'm saying is like from a production standpoint, like the Barbie, when they were in the Barbie world was just so crazy. And a lot of stuff I was just genuinely like, how do they even do that? Like with the whole like obviously I know a lot of it's just like green screen and stuff, but like when he's like running to surf and then like it's just like a whole set. That
is so stupid. But it made me laugh.
I also think that like, sorry, Tyler, go on.
No, I'm done. You're up.
I was just going to echo off your thoughts and say that, you know, when you said like that was the point when it comes to the real world being like kind of more bland and stuff. I think that's whenever you use a criticism, people are like, yeah, that's the point. I also think it's like, if it's the point, it doesn't mean I have to like it. And I didn't like the real world sections, even though I thought it was bland, and that's meant to be. It doesn't mean I have to like it, even if it's the point of the film. That's, you know, what's good about a film. So I've had like cool messages about that. And
it's like our criticism on Raging Bull. It's like, that's the point with the boxing scenes, to not be like super engaged. It's like, yeah, I know that's the point, but I just didn't love it.
I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't like it. It's fucking
a couple more things that I completely forgot about. I've never heard Emma say that's literally me in my life. Like she has never once said that to me. But after Barbie was like, do you ever think about dying? She said, oh, she's literally me. And I started cackling in my theater because I've just never, that's such a like idiot Ryan Gosling, literally me comment. And it made me die in theater. But also Ryan Gosling, when he's in the real world and he's on the beach and he's like, no. They were saying something about lifeguarding out in the water. He's like, no. Like right here, this beach is me. I was dying.
I did like how his occupation was beach.
Yeah,
it wasn't like anything.
It was just beach. That was funny to me. He's like, I just beach. That was very funny. But I think we can wrap up Barbie from there. I personally really enjoyed it. I know you guys liked parts of it. Maybe didn't love it all. George said you liked it. I think Seth and Tyler. No one's down on this movie. I don't think. It's just liked it in a varying scale. As always, feel free to let us know. Another thing to mention, obviously not talking about box office. That's a big thing with studios. Fuck you, studios. The best thing about this movie. What's up?
I just have one more question about Barbie for you before you were going to wrap it up. Dua Lipa, did you want more Dua Lipa?
God damn, shout out Dua Lipa.
I know you always want more, but like totally unironically, like I wish she did have more because she really, I think she had like what, one line or something, and it was really just like her popping up in the ocean.
I mean,
yeah.
I personally don't like. I don't necessarily think we needed more of Mermaid Barbie by any means, but she was fine for what she did, and also the song "Dance the Night Away" absolutely bangs every time. I listened to that thing on repeat, and then during the movie, it didn't miss again. And that's one of my favorite parts of the movie is that party with the dance routine. When like
the start,
when they're all doing their dance, and then
they're wearing the jackets with the K on and stuff like that.
Fun. The kids are wearing that. Margot Robbie's just absolutely crushing this dance scene. That was one of my favorite scenes, and it's a lot probably because the Dua Lipa song just bangs. I also liked the
shout out Billie Eilish as well, by the way.
Yeah, shout out Billie
Eilish. Wait, what song was that?
It was the end. What was that made for? When she's like talking to Ruth and the sad song.
That was really emotional. That was like a good ending. I will also say, fuck having a kid. All right, because now any like child montage of playing with their family, and obviously it's a mother and daughter, so it doesn't like exactly line up with my life, but that makes me cry more than almost any like scene in any movie now. Fuck having a kid. That
montage like felt super like A24, like after Sunny a little bit, didn't it?
Because Greta Gerwig's a damn good director.
I know, it was such like a weird like tonal shift in the movie that I like did not give a shit about. Like usually that would piss me off, but I was like, damn, this is kind of sad as fuck.
Yeah, no. I think like Tyler said, he kind of hit the nail on the head with it. I think she made the best Barbie movie anyone could make, just given that obviously they're gonna have a whole lot of product placement with Barbie stuff, but like she did a damn good job with like intertwining that in a comedic way and a good way. But yeah, I do think, we talked about how like fun of a time this is at the movies, but I do think it hits on the emotional level as well with those montages of the kids and every playing with the Barbies and everything. And that, I think they did a really good job with that. The biggest thing we can advocate is that the cast is great in this, the set design is great, and the directing and writing is really great as well. And those are all obviously from the actors and writers, and we could not have this movie without them. So again, if you can, go support the writers and actors strikes. Links in every single bio that we have, most likely. We'll make sure to get it in our link tree and everything. So just different ways to support. We want to make sure people are supporting the best they can. Moving on to, I should say a 3.5 from George, 3 from Tyler and Seth, and then 82 out of 100. I think you were at a 6.2.
6.1, but I'm rewatching it like in the 2 days with Riley, and I'm pretty much positive it's going to go up on rewatch.
Yeah. So we all enjoyed it, but that's kind of where we're at score wise. And now we're done with the Barbie review.